everybody and welcome to another Top 5 Records video. The year 1969 is a very difficult year because some of the best bands ever made some of their best records. So I'm gonna leave some beautiful titles out because the competition is just killing in 1969. Nevertheless, these are, in my opinion, the 5 best albums. We're on the number 5. Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones. This is an amazing album. I really love it. This has been the Rolling Stones album I've been listening to the most. It's got to do with the songs. I mean, the way this opens. Let It Bleed. Beautiful lyrics. Don't we all need someone we can bleed on? It is, on a certain level, what makes the Stones different from the Beatles. The Beatles sang Let It Be. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary come to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. The Beatles dreamt, they were dreamers, they had visions, they had hope. And the Rolling Stones, they seemed to live in the gutter. Let it bleed, bleed. If we all need someone we can bleed on. If you want to, you can bleed on me. After that, Love in Vain, a Robert Johnson cover. Beautiful, beautiful cover. Midnight Rambler, great song. Gimme Shelter, perhaps the best song the Stones recorded, Gimme Shelter. And this is all the first side. You Got the Silver, nice ballad, nice ballad. After that, You Can't Always Get What You Want. Live With Me, Monkey Man, Country Hunk. So many awesome songs. The Rolling Stones were on fire in 1969. And Let It Bleed is a beautiful album. Now, the best sounding version of this, I might do another video about it, but I've got a first UK mono and a first UK stereo. You can see, by the way, these are the same covers, but this is a red inlay and this is a blue inlay. And both sound pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. But I might do another video about Stones mono stereo some other time. I'm gonna go to the number 4 spot. The Chord of the Crimson King by King Crimson. And this is a rare gem. It took rather long in my music listening career before I found this out. I really enjoyed Pink Floyd, but it took me about 2 years ago before I discovered this album. It is gorgeous. It is, together with Dark Side of the Moon, perhaps the most important progressive rock album ever made. There are the most incredible sounds here. There are jazz influences, yet it never does what jazz does. It never creates the ambience of jazz. It has a pure, very rough, hard rock attitude. But at times it can be very gentle and tender. For example, the song Epitaph. Oh, it's so good. I mean, this is an album that kicks off with 20th Century Schizoid Man, which is an incredible banger. The sound of that song, and then you also got beautiful songs like Epitaph in the Chord of the Crimson King. It's a masterpiece. It's beautiful. And funny thing is, this 200 gram vinyl reissue is the better sounding pressing, because the original tapes that were used for the first pressing, they were damaged in the highs. Now they have refound the original masters, and this ought to be the best sounding version. Now, this is from what I've read. I have not found an original pressing, and compared to this, nevertheless, the first time my needle dropped on this, I immediately heard one of the best sounding records I have ever heard. This one is all around available between 20, 25 euros, pounds. If you come across one, buy one, go online, find it. You will most likely love it. On number 3, the first album by Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin. And this is pure magic. I really enjoy more records by Led Zeppelin, but they never came back to the bluesy feeling of this one. Good Times, Bad Times, you know, a good song. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. Oh, just the sound, the voice of Robert Plant, Jimmy Page's guitar. You Shook Me, a great Willie Dixon cover. Dazed and Confused. Communication Breakdown. So many great songs. This was one of the moments in time when blues changed, when blues became rougher, it became much more rock. It was a reinvention of blues, because you can't call this blues, but this is hard rock, bluesy hard rock, in a very different manner than King Crimson is also hard rock. They have different roots. They have jazzy roots. These guys have blues roots all over the place. Awesome album. A number 2 spot. Best albums from 1969. The Velvet Underground, The Velvet Underground. This is a masterpiece. Now, by this time, John Cale had left the group, and I really love John Cale. I think he made some of the most beautiful records. He produced some of the most beautiful records. As a solo artist, as an input in the Velvet Underground, John Cale is a genius. But when you listen to this one, you hear that there were certain things Lou Reed could not do, and he could not develop himself in a certain regard with John Cale around. What is that? Well, Lou Reed can be a sensitive soul, at least in his writing. By the time this album was recorded, he quit drugs. He was sober during this. And you will rarely hear a more fragile, honest man singing than on this record. It opens with Candy Says, which is not sung by Lou Reed, by the way. He did write it. After that, What Goes On, Some Kind of Love, Pale Blue Eyes, Linger On You Pale Blue Eyes, and to end of side 1 with a song called Jesus. Candy Says, Pale Blue Eyes and Jesus are amongst the best ballads ever written. They have a melodic quality which reminds me of the Beatles, but they have a lyrical quality which the Beatles can never approach. This is sincerity down and out. Lou Reed is a magnificent poet on here. And the record goes on. Beginning to See the Light, I'm Set Free, That's the Story of My Life, The Murder Mystery and After Hours. This is one of the best ballad albums around. And not everything is a ballad, but a lot of it is. And these lyrics, the fragility of his voice. If you're gonna try and buy one, try and buy the second UK pressing, because the second UK pressing is the one that Lou Reed sent the proper mix on. And the Velvet Underground were in a period when they were recording, they were a small time band. So they just went into the studio, and it was much like a factory. There was no room for artistic integrity. Artists were not really involved in the mixing. And Lou Reed sang very softly and held the mic very closely, so you could hear all the sincerity, all the fragility. It's very beautifully recorded. But on the other pressings, they put the volume down. Like, well, that's where the volume should be. If you're singing so softly, your problem. So for the UK, for a different mix, he put his volume up, and that's the one he sent to the UK. If you're gonna find that one, trust me, you're gonna love it. Number 1, best record from 1969. The Who, Tommy. The second great rock opera. The Who changed the course of rock history with this album. And this is one of the albums that greatly inspired me. It is a beautiful story. It's a beautiful opera. It goes to the most bizarre places, yet never does it stop being catchy. When you put this on, you go along and you hear something magnificent. It's new, it's challenging, it's wonderful. It remains fresh after so many years. I really love this dearly. If you have not heard Tommy, do yourselves a favor. Go out, buy one of these, and pure magic. Now, those are my 5 favorite albums from 1969. What are yours? Leave a comment below. See you in the next video.